Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at the sources you sent over about a pretty major development in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, specifically day 5.
Yeah, day 5 was definitely a turning point. And it really centered around Justin Bieber breaking his silence, didn't it? Someone Diddy mentored early on.
Exactly. His statement really changed the whole dynamic.
It did. So our focus here is to unpack what actually happened that day, understand why Bieber speaking out now is such a big deal, and look at the immediate fallout, in the court and, well, everywhere else.
Right. And it helps to remember there's been talk for years, hasn't there? Awkward moments, weird interview dynamics between them.
Oh, definitely. That history is kind of the backdrop that makes this statement land so heavily. It wasn't totally out of the blue if you'd been paying attention, maybe.
Okay, so Bieber's statement itself, it dropped just before court started on day 5.
Yep, right before things got underway. And he put it on his Instagram.
Which has, what, like 270 million followers? That's a massive audience.
Huge. No filter, straight to the public. And the message, it was directly to Cassie Ventura. It started, "Cassie, I see you, I remember what I saw, and I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner."
Wow. Pretty direct opening.
Very direct and emotional. Then he brought up a specific memory.
The 2015 after-party thing.
That's the one. Said he remembered Diddy grab her arm too hard. Giving that concrete example, it makes it more real, doesn't it?
It really does. It's not just vague stuff. He also mentioned Diddy interrupting Cassie, like in interviews.
Yeah, answering for her, kind of watching who she talked to. Basically controlling her interactions, even in public.
That paints a picture, definitely. A picture of control.
And Bieber reflected on his own feelings back then, too. Said something like, he wondered if it was normal.
But he was young, right? Thought maybe that's just how the industry worked.
Exactly. I was just a kid, too. I thought this was how the industry worked.
Right.
It shows how, perceptions can get skewed in that environment.
And that last line he wrote, "If I had spoken up sooner, maybe she wouldn't have felt so alone."
That's powerful. Carries a lot of regret.
It really does. It's like taking some responsibility, maybe, and offering support now. And he posted it with that old black and white photo of him and Cassie.
Right, from some music event, a reminder of their connection back then.
Yeah. So this whole thing goes live online, and obviously it gets back to the courtroom pretty fast.
So what happened when Diddy found out? The report sounded intense.
Intense is probably an understatement. Apparently he saw the post himself on his phone. And then reporters started showing it around in the courtroom.
Oh, wow. So there was no ignoring it.
Not at all. And the reports say he kind of lost it, cracked under the pressure.
Lost it how? Like physically?
Yeah, supposedly slammed his hand on the defense table, hard enough to break a water glass.
Seriously?
And
the middle of court?
Apparently so. And then started shouting things at Cassie. Accusations, this is all lies, that sort of thing.
And did he mention Bieber? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Reportedly said something like, "After everything I did for him," implying betrayal.
Right. And then threats.
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah.
Threats against both of them. Saying he'd make sure neither of them worked in the industry again. That's serious.
You can't do that in court. What did the judge do?
Stepped in immediately, told him to get control of himself, threatened to have him removed, contempt charges, the whole deal.
So did he calm down then?
Yeah, reports say he went silent after that. But the damage was kind of done, with that image of being totally in control. It was shattered, at least for that moment.
Okay, so after all that drama settles down a bit, Cassie is still testifying. How did she react to Bieber's post entering the picture?
Well, her first comment on it was interesting. She said something like, "I know people are shocked by what Justin posted, but I wasn't."
So she wasn't surprised he remembered things.
Seems that way. Maybe she knew he'd seen things. She confirmed he was around a lot back then, called him like a little brother to the industry.
So he was in a position to observe their dynamic.
Definitely. And she said something else quite telling. He saw more than he realized and more than he was ready to process.
Suggesting he was young, maybe didn't grasp the full picture at the time?
That's how it sounds. Then she talked about Diddy having rules about who she could talk to. A list of men.
Bieber was on that list.
Apparently. She couldn't talk to him or others without Diddy there, and there were consequences if she broke those rules. It points to, well, extreme isolation and control.
Absolutely. And then they introduced text messages from 2017.
Yeah, between Cassie and Bieber. This is years before the trial.
What did they say?
Cassie wrote something like, "I don't know what to do anymore. He monitors everything." Just desperation there.
And Bieber's response?
He replied, "That's not normal. You need to talk to someone. This isn't okay." So even back then, he recognized it wasn't right.
That's pretty damning evidence coming from years ago. Why didn't she bring these up sooner?
Her explanation was heartbreaking, really. She said, because he told me no one would believe me, and I believed him.
Ugh, that really speaks to the power dynamic, the manipulation she alleges.
It does. And she shared another specific story, too, about a party.
What happened there?
She said Diddy saw her talking to Bieber and later whispered a threat to her. Something like, even Justin knows what happens to people who cross me.
Chilling. Just reinforces that alleged atmosphere of fear.
Exactly. So, stepping back from the courtroom itself,
Yeah.
what are the wider shockwaves from this?
Well, the media coverage is huge, obviously. People are drawing parallels to Harvey Weinstein, another powerful figure facing public accusations after years of whispers. It's all playing out in real time.
And inside the music industry, what are we seeing there?
Reports say Bieber's phone was just blowing up. Calls, texts, support, maybe warnings, who knows.
You wonder what those conversations are like.
Right. And it makes you look back at things like that Usher interview from 2022 resurfaced, where he said he wasn't comfortable with his kids living with Diddy back in the day.
Yeah, that quote definitely hits differently now. Suggests unease wasn't maybe limited to just Cassie or Bieber.
For sure. And fans are active too, calling out other artists associated with Diddy. Some artists are apparently putting out statements trying to distance themselves, or just disabling comments on their social media.
Damage control, maybe. But potentially the most significant thing is what Cassie's lawyer said.
What was that?
That other artists are now contacting prosecutors. Off the record, for now. Sharing their own stories. Even recording sometimes.
Wow. So Bieber's statement might have opened a door for others.
It really looks that way. Like,
Yeah.
it gave others the courage, perhaps. And then there was that security footage they showed.
Oh yeah, the hotel lobby video from 2018, only 40 seconds.
Yeah, but apparently it shows Diddy's behavior towards Cassie. Subtle stuff, maybe, but controlling. Like a hand placement, a whispered comment that changes her whole expression. Visuals can be powerful.
And the immediate fallout seems real. Brands pulling out, streaming platforms reviewing his music, business deals potentially dissolving.
Yeah, the consequences seem to be mounting quickly, and more people are reportedly coming forward. It feels like a snowball effect.
And Bieber's motivation in all this doesn't seem like he was trying to be a hero.
No, the sense is more that he just felt he couldn't stay silent anymore. Maybe a sense of obligation, like you said earlier.
And for Cassie, this has to be validating after everything.
Immensely validating, you'd have to imagine. Proof that she wasn't alone in seeing what she saw, and that her story matters. It feels like a real crack in that wall of silence that protects powerful people sometimes.
Definitely. The whole narrative shifted on day 5, from accusations, even with evidence, to this very public corroboration and visible consequences unfolding.
It really did.
Yeah.
So recapping the key points from that day, Bieber's Instagram post backing Cassie, Diddy's reported outburst in court, Cassie's testimony confirming Bieber saw things, and sharing those old texts.
And then the wider industry reaction, the new evidence like the video and other potential witnesses emerging, it was a lot.
A pivotal day, no question. It moved the needle from allegations towards, well, something feeling much more concrete in the public eye.
So, as we wrap this deep dive on day 5, it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? About the impact one voice can have, especially when it challenges a powerful structure.
What does it really take for secrets, especially long-held ones in places like the entertainment industry, to finally come out?
And what might this whole situation signal about accountability moving forward? It's definitely something to keep watching.